Do you know how to create a vision that not only motivates you, but inspires you to move towards the path of finding your purpose? In this episode of Putting on the New You, we're going to discuss how to create a vision. Stay tuned. In our last episode, we talked about the importance of a vision. We talked about the things that could occur if, in fact, you don't have a vision for your life. So today, we're going to discuss how, in fact, to create a vision. Let's go ahead and get into the next lesson. One of the first things to consider when you are putting a vision together is making sure that the past is not your primary focus. Let's look at the word hindsight. The word hindsight deals with looking in the past. It deals with things that have occurred already. You know, you'll hear the phrase, if I had 20/20 hindsight, things would be perfectly clear. If we had known certain details, we would have made different decisions, right? So as you are moving forward and working towards your vision, one of the first things that I want to encourage you to do is to not stay focused on the past. Think about this for a moment. If you're driving a car, you notice a car has two rear view mirrors on the sides of the car, and there's one that's inside the console with you. Now, those mirrors are very important because they help you to see behind you to make sure that as you make adjustments in traffic that you don't move into the wrong lane, or if someone's coming beside you that you don't make a mistake and get into an accident. Now, imagine what would happen if all you did was look into the rearview mirror. You're going to crash your car, right? You're not going to see where you're going, and you won't be able to focus on where you're trying to go if in fact you keep looking behind. So the first thing to do when you're thinking about a vision for your life is to remove hindsight from the equation, only from a standpoint of that's not going to be your focus. It's okay to look to the past, to look at mistakes that you've made, only if you're going to learn from them. It's not meant for you to hold on to it, and you certainly don't want to carry the same mistakes forward as you're developing your vision. What you do want to do with hindsight is use it as a teacher. Look at the mistakes you may have made, look at decisions you've made, and what could you have learned from those things, and take the lessons with you as you move forward in your vision. So the first thing is, don't stay focused on hindsight, because like a car has a very large, glass that shows you, the window that you're looking out of. You want to be able to see everything ahead of you. So remove the hindsight and be able to focus on what's ahead. The next thing when it comes to developing a vision is to pull from insight. Now, the word insight deals with being able to see within. So that sounds very mystical and magical when someone says, hey, just look within, right? We've all heard it. And we talk about it, and it sounds really good, but what does that really mean? When we talk about using insight, the ability to look within in order to see, where are we looking? What faculties are we using? And what's going to help us to be able to see what's there so that we can do something about it when it comes to dealing with your vision? There's a scripture from the Bible that I like to quote that I feel will be very appropriate and will really help give a good understanding to this principle. The scripture's in Proverbs chapter 20, verse 27. It says, the spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, searching the inward parts of the belly. Now, what does that mean to you if I say that the spirit of man is the candle? Now, that's not talking about when it makes reference to looking into the inward parts of the belly like you're seeing inside your stomach. No, it's not what that means at all. And it's not a literal candle. But think about what a candle does. A candle sheds light on a situation. It brings enlightenment. It helps you to see in a dark situation, right? So it doesn't matter how dark something is, something as small as a flicker of a candle flame can enable you to be able to see into a dark situation. I started the entire teaching series. Everything that I'm doing with Putting on the New You has been focused on the fact that you are a spirit, and as you learn how to work with your spirit, you can begin to make real changes in your life. So what this scripture is talking about is being able to look inside of your spirit and see what's inside of you. That's amazing. If you want to think about that for a second, because what that tells me is there are things inside of you that are waiting to be discovered. There are things that have to do with where you're trying to go and where you want to be that don't exist outside of you. They are all within you. That means that all you have to do is turn your vision on the inside first. Then you'll be able to see exactly where you need to go and bring about what's on the inside on the outside. So to me, being able to have insight means being able to go within, being able to look inside of your spirit, taking time to see what's there, taking time to connect with what's inside of you, what resonates with you when you think about your life, because in all reality, no one can tell you what's inside of you other than yourself. No one can tell you exactly where you need to go, but if you look inside, you should be able to find out exactly what fits into your life, exactly where your life needs to be, and the things that should be within your life to help you move forward, because they're meant for you. It's part of your journey. It's the map that needs to guide you, not everyone else. So when we talk about vision, that vision is specific to your life. Now, there are people who are with you who, maybe your family or your friends that are in your life, that are in your circle, that as you step into your vision, they're going to benefit from that. But at the end of the day, you are the one that has to get on that path. You are the one that has to find the path. And you are the one that ultimately has to decide where that destination is. So, as I said before, the second part, once you remove hindsight, is to look within. And looking within gives you insight to being able to see and understand what the vision is for you and for your life. Now, once you've looked within, this will enable you to develop foresight. Now, what's foresight? Foresight is being able to look into the future. It's being able to project out and see what's up ahead, to be able to utilize the faculty of your imagination and think about a situation before it even happens. To me, that's a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, you're able to plan for a trip and see the trip in your mind first before you ever spend a dime, before you ever move your vehicle, before you ever utilize any resources. You're able to, in fact, take the trip inside of your mind. Now, a lot of people say, well, I can't imagine anything, but I beg to differ. If I was to ask you to think about something that is very rewarding to you, like if you work really hard and you work towards a goal, what does the realization of that goal look like for you? If you close your eyes and thought about it, it could be, at the end of this goal, I'm going to make $10,000, right? So if you have that $10,000, it's not working toward the goal that gives you the satisfaction. It's what you're going to receive on the other side of that goal. It's the thoughts that you have about what your life is going to be like once you get that $10,000. You're going to be able to imagine what spending that $10,000 is going to feel like, or if you want to put that money in the bank, how your bank account's going to stack up because you put an extra 10 grand in it, right? So it's the thing that drives and motivates you to complete the goal. When you are able to have foresight, when you're able to see in your mind what the realization of that goal is going to look like. So part of the vision is, once you're able to look within and develop that insight, you then want to start assembling with your imagination what your life can look like once you achieve this particular vision, once you achieve the goal. What is the thing that you're desiring to do, and being able to see how your life is going to improve, what all is going to take place in your life once you have the realization of that vision. Once you have the results of fulfilling that vision, you will then be able to see, okay, in order to get here, I'm going to be able to take this step, but when I take this step, I'm going to feel and experience this particular result. And once you ultimately wind up at the end, then you will know exactly what it is that it feels like to have achieved that vision. So with developing foresight, you want to take the time to imagine, with what I've connected with on the inside of my spirit, the thing that I feel on the inside of me that I should be doing with my life, before you ever do anything, before you ever take a step in your mind. See with your imagination what that looks like. Allow yourself to feel what that would feel like to be living and experiencing that vision. See what your life will mean, not only to yourself, but to those around you once you are standing in that vision. Now, that requires nothing but time, patience, and for you to be able to just sit with yourself and discover those things. So it should be something that's fun. It shouldn't be something that stresses you out, but it's more about having an understanding that before I get to the goal, I have to see it first. And seeing it first in your mind will help you to assemble what you need to do in order to get there. So once you move from insight, it allows you to have foresight. Once you've spent time developing foresight, developing and laying out what this vision looks like in your mind first, I'd like to encourage you to write it down. I like for you to take the time to, if it takes pictures or if it's just words that you like, whatever it is that's meaningful to you, write that vision down. Put it somewhere for you to see it. Because as you do that, what it's going to do is allow for your mind to be able to process it. When your mind processes thought, your brain gives you action steps to take. So it's not like you're waiting on anyone to help you to achieve this vision other than you. You're not waiting on some external force or another person to come in and tell you what moves you need to make, because you're taking the necessary steps to connect with you. You're connecting with what's on the inside. And as you're doing that, you're working with your spirit and with your mental faculties to craft out plans of action that you need to take. And you will also be able to make adjustments to fine tune that plan again before you ever do anything. And to me, that is the best planning that you can do. Now, there's one more scripture I'd like to share with you from the Bible that I think really solidifies this point. Check this out. It says in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that reads it. Now think about that. In the previous video, we talked about companies having a mission statement, and oftentimes when you walk into a particular company, they'll usually have it on a really nice plaque or somewhere in a book, like an employee guidebook, where they'll say what the mission is, because they've written it, because they want you to be able to read it, and they're hoping that it inspires you enough to take action. Well, when it comes to the vision for your life, think about it in this way. If you're able to define what the vision is, aka where you're going, and then you're able to take the time to develop foresight, to develop insight, to see what all you need to do, aka how you're going to get there. And then you take the time to craft out a plan, and you surround yourself with things that remind you of that plan, and you take the time to write it down so that you see it. Then you know exactly where you're going to go. You know how you're going to get there, and you know what the results are going to look like once you achieve that goal, because that vision is written down. Then you will be able to run with the vision that you have established for your life. Thank you so much for tuning in to this particular video. My name is Melvin Nix. Once again, this is Putting on the New You, and I hope you will really take the time to sit down, craft a vision for yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.